We're David and David, and you're at Outsider Tart in London, an American-style bakery, and today we're going to show you some tips and tricks on frosting and finishing cakes. I'm going to show you how to make whipped cream frosting. So we're going to do a whipped cream frosting, one of the easier frostings to make. The big mistake everybody seems to make with it, though, is to rush it. So there's no way to rush a good, firm whipped cream. But what we have in our bowl is our heavy cream, or double cream, or even whipping cream works, but a nice fatty dairy cream. We have some granulated, finely granulated sugar, and we have our trusty vanilla. So what we're going to do is put it on our mixer with a whisk attachment. You can also do this by hand if you want, but you better have very large biceps and a lot of stamina. We're going to put this on, and this is the key, at a very low speed. That's it. 1 or 2 on your mixer is the max you want to go. You let this churn. The main reason you're doing this, and most people like to turn their mixers on really high and think this is a really quick, easy frosting to make, but their whipped cream tends to fall apart over time. By doing it slowly and creating small concentric circles, little bitty bubbles in your whipping cream, it gives it really good structure and it won't go runny. You can actually put this in the fridge and keep it for a day or 2. It'll still stay really firm in the same way as if you had just whipped it up. By whipping it really fast and creating really large, irregular bubbles, they pop and it all just starts to sink and it just goes horribly wrong over time. So patience, patience, patience when working with your whipped cream. You can go ahead and add your flavorings. There's no magic to not having your sugar in as you're whipping it up. So we're going to add it slowly into the mixture to let it start dissolving. Then we're going to add a little bit of our flavoring, and this is really all to taste. If you want a little less sweet cream, then add a little less sugar, or a little more sugar if you want it sweeter. There's really no right or wrong. It truly is personal preference. The main thing, again, is just the speed at which you're mixing. It'll take about, I don't want to change my color too much, so we're just putting a hint. It'll take about 10 to 15 minutes to whip up at this speed. So it's a good thing if you're having a meal or if you're dining, just as you go in to do your mains and you sit down to eat, just to turn it on your lowest speed and then come back and check on it once you're finished, and you leave your guest very briefly and it all sort of bleeds one into the next. We're starting to get a nice ripple in our bowl, and it's consistent. I'm going to turn it off because I like finishing it by hand. So if you look at it now, what we have, and by rippling you can see there's ripples left in there. It's still pretty runny, moves around quite well. So if you just whip it by hand, you'll feel it stiffening up underneath. And the way you can test it is to take your whisk out. Even if you're using a bloom whisk, that's fine too. There's a little dimple, and it wiggles, and it doesn't come off. And that is done. If you continue whisking, and we're going to show you that, you've over-whisked here, and look how little it took. And now it's ugly, it's clumpy, and I would say start over. And that's how you make whipped cream frosting.